Okay, hey, welcome back to the USS Glenn. Just working away. Last I left it with you, we actually had 4 red lights in here and 1 blue light. So we had a blue light for the deflector dish. We had a light for the 2 lights for the impulse intakes, and then 2 lights for the impulse exhaust impulse engines that were red. Upon reviewing my footage, I realized that what I really want to have is another red light up here and then 2 blue lights on my impulse engines. And you've seen from the Discovery footage I've put in before on the launch from 2016 when they were doing the teaser, that has blue impulse engines. So I'm taking my cue from that to do the USS Glenn with blue impulse engines here, red intake crystals. And honestly, there weren't any intake crystals at all on that. So from that standpoint, you know, we're just going to do red instead of just a blank, right? And then we'll do the blue impulse engines. Once I get those wired and glued in and re-glued in and then buttoned up with the wires, then we can go ahead and put the impulse engines, we can put the nacelles onto there and wire all that together and get to working. The next step also will be to take this, bumping up here a little bit, will be to take the primary hull and the saucer section. The saucer section is the primary hull, I'm sorry. But take this section here that I've painted a different color, tape it off, and prep this for the paint that's the regular hull base color. And you can see that there's a different color in that, and it's going to be different. So very excited about how that should look when we're all said and done. So let me go to work on this. I'll get these white lights wired up. I'll come back and show you those, and then we'll proceed. Talk to you soon. Okay, hey, we are back with you, and that actually went fairly painlessly, so I'm actually pretty excited about that. So essentially what we've got now are our 2 intakes here are really going to be bright red, and they're going to have hot spots, but you know what, I'm not so concerned about this particular model because I wanted those clear. But then my blue impulse engines, boy, they just are really nice. And what I'm going to do is I'll paint the back of the impulse engines white and then cover them with the last bit of photo etch from my disaster that I had. And once I've got that, I can do that separately. I don't have to wait for the rest of the process here, but I'm very excited the way that's going to look. So we'll have 2 blues, the 2 reds, the blue in the front. I need to cover that with some black, just some black paint there to keep that light from leaking out, but I think we're actually in pretty good shape. And then once that's done, then I'm ready to basically, again, tape this section off right here. I've got to spray these again with the actual hull color, and definitely progress. So this is fairly wired. It'd be a matter of connecting the 1 wire here from the center section, which will go in and connect to these here, connect those up, and then squish it all together, of course. So very, very pleased with the way all of a sudden this has come together with the blue. I think it's going to be a nice look when it's all said and done, and then we'll get this taped off and start to get it painted as well. But I got to do a little more work on the inside here with getting some cover over that that blue, and that should take care of it. So I'll get on that, and then I will be back with you. Thank you. All right, and we're back, and we are out of the paint booth now, and I'm just trying to tin my soldering iron. I really like this soldering iron because you can unscrew that end, you can replace those tips with those ultra fine tips right there, so that is very cool. So our next step now is to wire and solder in the lines for the nacelles into the base here, and then wire in these into the base, wire in a couple of lights. And I did get on Boyd Compton's recommendation, this is wire wrapping wire. I got the blue, red, and green, so I'm kind of Christmassy. But I'm going to use red and green for red and blue for positive and negative. We'll keep the green to the side there, but So I'm going to try this. I've not tried this before, and what I have to do is run wire in through the bottom section here. And once I've got that wire in from the bottom section, then I can wire the whole thing in. So basically, essentially, I'm just going to come up through here and wire into those positives. So we'll give this a shot. Not worked with it before, and we'll see how she goes. Should be fairly simple now. I'm out of the paint booth, and I really like the way that that turned out. This is darker here underneath that, and then one of the keys, I think, is that this is all going to be under wallpaper decal anyways, but that turned out really nice, and I think we're going to be pretty good on light leads. We might have a little challenge here on these here, but the rest I think is good. So let me go to work soldering this together, and then once I have that done, then we can close it up. So we'll be back with you shortly. Thank you. All right, hey, we have progress. Very, very exciting progress on the USS Glenn. What we have is we have our white bridge light is lit up quite nicely. This dark looks amazing now against all of the copper or copper mix. So that bridge is going to look great. On the front side, we've got two Bussard collectors here and here that are red. I can see just a touch of red behind the mask. And then we have our impulse intakes are red on this particular version of the USS Glenn, and along with our blue deflector dish. And then finally here in the back we've got our blue impulse engines, and then we'll put a cap over that. But I am just so pleased. It's not buttoned up yet. I'm going to let this burn in for about 24 hours or so. The nice thing is once you button it up, those nacelles will just slip right on, and they are going to be good to go. Very pleased with the way that turned out. So I'm going to let this burn in for about, again, 24 hours, just so those LEDs don't puke on me, just to make sure that they're good. And then once we button it up, then we will begin a little bit of sanding and putty and a little bit of touch-ups with the base coat. Once that is done and we're good there, then it's on to the wallpaper decals. And I'm not so concerned about color and paint color and perfectness, because these wallpaper decals cover this literally cover almost this entire ship. So once those are done, then we're there. I am very excited about this wrapping wire. I think this is an excellent choice over the magnet wire, and I've used a lot of the magnet wire, but thank you, Boyd, for the recommendation, because it's dynamite. It works. It's easily manageable. It's fantastic to strip. I haven't soldered it to a circuit board yet, but I'm sure if the rest of the stuff works the way this does, it will be absolutely awesome. And so we're gonna keep working on that. Gonna let this burn in. Gonna let it sit. I got to do some work reports for actual work, and then we'll be back with the next phase. Will be buttoning this up. So until then, we'll talk to you soon. Alright, so very excited here. We have managed to close up some of the hull. At least now I can get it to where I can epoxy this and clamp it and fit everything in there. I do have a pretty sizable light leak around the deflector dish housing. So what I'm going to do, I've got a syringe here filled with microcrystal clear. And what I'm going to do is come across this with pretty sizable little shot. But what I'm going to do is take my Q-tip. I'm going to take my Q-tip here, put it in my water, and then I'm just going to come across here and kind of shape this just like so. Now what that allows me to do is not have to use putty in there, and then what I'll do is I'll go over that with some black paint, and then I'll be able to spray over there with my super fine superfine airbrush. And then because the syringe is metal, I take a half a resistor, put it back in, seal that up, and let that fall back, and usually that's good to go. So very pleased now with being able to close this up. The next step is I have to actually pop this open one more time, and once it's popped open, then I'm going to put epoxy, 1 minute epoxy around the seams and the back two here, hopefully to close that up. Looks like it'll get there. That one will get there. And then same thing on this seam here. So that's really the big challenge, Mark, is epoxy, 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 and epoxy to go on that unit. And I want to be careful that I don't get it all over the place, which is in itself can be a big challenge. But this is going to need epoxy to close up and to close up tight enough. However, I had a pretty big gap here and a sizable gap there, and now that I've made progress with that, so I'm very excited now. The next step will be to close this up tight. Once it's closed up, sealed up, then I can come back, put on the back cap, which is this right here, and once that back cap is on, that also helps to seal up the hull with the way that kind of sandwiches in there, hopefully. And then finally, I did get the back of the windows painted, or the back of the deflector dish painted, so that is going to look dynamite. I can already see how much nicer that's going to be. And then I do have these two pieces of photo etch that have been painted the copper color, and I'll need to glue those over the top of that, like so. And once that glue is on, then I can go ahead and prepare for a later time to put that together. Alright, I'm going to keep at this. We'll have to see how that turns out on the bottom there, and hopefully that'll seal up, and we'll go from there. So again, check back with me soon. Okay, hey, we are out of the paint booth. We have put our copper color. I'm really liking the way that this dark bronze is turning out, by the way. We put our copper color in place, and actually I've gone ahead and given this a coat of clear gloss in order to go ahead and make the decals work a little better. We're ready to go ahead and start on those. Fortunately, due to my challenge with the photo etch earlier, I have two sets of decals for this one, so if I screw any of these up, you will be able to move forward with that. But a couple things I remember from doing this the first time: in your instruction sheet on the Discovery, when it comes to the decals, there are specific sequences. So apply these decals first: 53, 57, 58, 59, 60, and then last 10, 19, 34, 37, 41, and so forth. Also, another detail is where to cut specifically on the spine of the secondary hull. There are some cuts that will make this go much easier, and if I remember correctly, this was a pretty good challenge. Now again, this is the USS Glenn, so there are different call-outs. So there's G's are the NCC 1030s. The 1031s would be the Discovery, and so I've got two sets of the G's. And then somewhere in here, and I don't think I can see it with the naked eye, but somewhere in here are the pennants for the right ones. And I think the D, or the G rather, is the USS Glenn. Oh, M stands for Mirror Universe. So yeah, just reading through it and you can see the different Mirror Universe there. So, but again, this is polar lights. So you've got the D's here that don't show, and the M's, but where are the G's for the pennants? It's not here. And then you've got 1030 for the some of the additional decals. So this is just something I'm going to walk through very carefully. Very excited about getting some decals down onto this and getting this underway. And we will see how it comes together. But real excited about the look. Once the decals are in, then I need to put the glass in. Once the decals are in, put the glass in, and then finalize with some microcrystal clear, and then, well, prior to microcrystal clear, do a flat coat across this. So let me go at this, and we will be back with you shortly. Thank you. All right, hey, progress on the USS Glenn. I'm actually very thrilled at the results at the moment. Very, very thrilled. Currently, I've only put a few decals on and used my microcrystal clear. I'm sorry, not microcrystal clear. Microsol, made by the same company, however. We have got the decal on the side. These brown stripes have been put on. Silver stripes down the side here, and then I have done or completed the top hull. I do need to get a little more microcrystal clear on there to take out that wrinkle, hopefully. But for the most part, very excited about that look. And we've got some more to do on the top here, the registry and so forth. But for the most part, very excited. I'm going to tackle the centerpiece now. That's a big challenge with the way that those go in, windows, etc. But we'll get that underway next, and then probably work on the top portion here of the secondary hull. Good progress, very excited, and we will continue working on this, and we will be back with you in a bit. Thank you. Okay, making progress on the USS Glenn. The top set of decals are just about complete. Boy, I really like this. This has turned out so much nicer than the first discovery. Maybe this experience. So the decals have all had, that are on the top here, have all had one coat of microsol. And I am just really, really pleased with the way that the so for instance, I'm not sure if you can see this on screen, but these brown stripes went on first, and then after the brown stripes have gone on, then there's a Aztecing pattern that goes over the decal along with this white stripe, or white stripes that go down the center here. So the very cool thing about this is that it provides that patterning over our brown stripe there, and it really makes that come alive. So definitely very pleased with the way this has come together so far on the top. The bottom is next, and then actually before the bottom we'll put the side panels on, which are the windows. Those are the two toughest ones to go right now, but we'll get those on, and then we'll flip to the bottom, and then we'll do pennants and registries. So for now, very excited about this. This is very cool, and I'm very pleased with the way this is turning out. We've got quite a bit more to do on the decal. It takes forever on this wallpaper stuff, but very pleased, and we will we'll make some more progress and get back with you. Thank you. Hey, welcome back with decaling on the USS Glenn. Very pleased with the progress tonight. The top side is done except for registries and pennants, and the bottom side is nearly completed. These nacelles this time out have gone on absolutely swimmingly. They're fantastic. They fit correctly. They wrap the entire nacelle. It is truly wallpaper decaling, but those really turned out fantastic. The main secondary hull here, and again I have it coated at the moment with microsol to get those to set in and to sink into all of the deep recessed panel lines, which you've got several on here. But that's going to look fantastic. Once again, on this model, one of the toughest aspects of it is these phaser strips, or phaser banks, or whatever you want to call them. They make your decal pucker up right over those points. So there's 6 on the bottom there. There's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the outer ring, and that's really all I have left to do until registries come together. But honestly, that is really a super challenge to get those to go down over those. I should have done it, and I didn't. Typically, I would have stripped those off, but now that I've got paint on here, I don't really want to go to that extreme. So we're just going to microsaw them and maybe even go to my Walthers, which is much stronger. But for right now, this is going to sit overnight. It's going to sink in and get into all those crevices, and hopefully the microsaw on here will get most of that done. I don't think so. It's going to take multiple coats to get that to clean up, but very excited about the progress now. The next step would be to do the outer ring here, which is just 5 parts, I guess it is. And then once those are done, then we would move forward with the registry and the pennants and the name decals, which will go on pretty quickly. And from there, it's then to finalize all 4 of these onto the base. So we'll get more into that in a bit, but we're coming to a conclusion on this USS Glenn, and then we'll do one finale on the base itself. So till then, stay with me. We'll be back with more decaling and more results. Thanks. Well, we are getting ever so much closer to completing the USS Glenn. Very pleased with the way that this has turned out overall. It's been an exciting project. Having done the discovery several months ago, this has gone much smoother, and quite honestly, it looks significantly nicer on the execution, I would say. Just to bring you up to speed, I have completed all of the decals, including the registries on the top and bottom, on the sides, like here and here. The pennants have been put in place, and then on the bottom, the registry here. Not a lot of decals for registry or markings on the bottom. Across here there's a couple. So, and then I've spent a significant amount of time with my micro scale, micro saw, just to make all these things set down, and I'm pretty pleased with the way that's come along. I did get the impulse engines installed, glued in, and we're almost there. They look great. They look great in the reverse. Not too bad on the hot spots, a little bit, but I'm sure they're showing up on camera more than it's there. And now I'm just fixing some of the light leaks that are there because of the because of the gap between the photo etch, the plastic piece, and then the body of the ship. So I've been painting on that, just touch-ups here and there, and I've got most of it. The bottom looks pretty good. There's 1 or 2 there that I have to put another coat of paint on, and on the top, same thing. But for the most part, very excited about how that's going to look. Down the sides, these look great. And then once I get the clear coat on, or the flat coat on, and I'm going to use a semi-gloss on this, get that on here, and then I can remove the long in place liquid masks that are over the nacelle Bussard collectors. So this has been exciting, the way this has all come together. Very pleased with it to date. And so let me go ahead and get a final bit of painting done on that, and then let me get this coated in. I'm going to use a satin finish for this. And once that's done, we're ready to go to the mounting. So we will conclude after we come back with the satin finish. Talk to you soon. All right, hey, this is the completed USS Glenn. Well, I have one more thing to do, and I'll show you that in a second. However, my impulse engines are in, and they look, to me, they look fantastic. This has got a coat of semi-gloss on it. Model Master Semi-Gloss Clear, and it just sprays right out of the spray gun, just out of the bottle. Really nice. All of my lighting is working, which is a rarity, but that is also awesome. So you can see now I've got the Bussard collectors exposed. I've got the deflector dish exposed. The impulse engine intakes are exposed, and then in the back, we've got our chiller grills are exposed, and very, very pleased. On top, I've just completed putting in a coat of microcrystal clear from Microscale Industries, MI9. It's a flexible clear liquid plastic adhesive and model window forming material, and it joins dissimilar materials with a mechanical bond for the most part. It doesn't weld anything, but I keep mine in this little tiny syringe right here, and that syringe works fantastically. to use these real small areas. I have to do one more. I'm going to wait for that to dry, and then I have to do the bottom yet. But for the most part, we are done with this model. Not mounting it, of course, but done with the work. I do have to put the front gun into the deflector dish. I have to paint that, which I believe is right on there. I don't know if it's a gun or what it is. I'll have to take a look, but I have to paint that up black and put that in there. We'll wait for that glue to dry and harden, and from there that should give us a really nice canopy instead of using the glass, and then we're ready to go to mounting. So thanks for coming along on this journey with me. I'm very excited about being back to the sloppy modeler and being back in play. We will move pretty quickly on a couple of projects. I've got the stuff for the base to do this, and we're going to talk about putting sound with this one and what I did and how I did that relatively inexpensively and relatively easily. That's been a big challenge with these models for a long time, is how to put the sound together. But for right now, the way this turned out, I'm very, very, very pleased, and we appreciate you coming along for the ride. So a couple more things. If you've liked this video, please go ahead and tap that like button. You don't have to slam it. If you just tap it, it works just fine. You will have a better life if you hit that like button, subscribe. I really can't back that up, right? So I definitely appreciate your viewership, your subscriptions, and if you want to hit that bell for notification when the next one is going to come out with the mounting of all of these models, please do so. But again, thank you for your viewership, thank you for your patronage, and this is the Sloppy Modeler signing off for the NCC 1030 USS Glenn from Star Trek Discovery. We will talk to you soon. Thank you.